We're going to have a look around some of the material and parts that we make inside.
Lovely.
This is Matt, our machinist. Matt, Jamie.
Right.
So as you can see here, first of all, machinery from CNC lathe to mills.
Yeah.
Hand mill, pillar mill.
You can pretty much make anything.
Exactly.
Triple clamps. I mean, that's what makes a factory bike for me. Just the wherewithal to do this in-house.
Yeah.
Linkage, so you've got a top triple clamp, bottom triple clamp, you've got a disc carrier, obviously gear lever. Yeah. Then stuff like this, linkages, make your own linkages, and that, to me, that's factory stuff.
Yeah.
That you can actually make in-house. Matt's a clever kid. With a look at this.
We're very lucky, we're very fortunate to be able to manufacture this, and obviously with rapid prototyping, how that's changed,
yep.
We're able to send something out, get it rapid prototype, fit it up, then hand that over to Matt to produce.
Perfect.
So, yeah, so, you know, hopefully we're on top of our game, ready for Cadwell.
Lovely.
Shall we have a look at the dyno?
Yeah.
Here's our dyno room, Jamie. Just watch a step when you're coming in.
People know a dyno measures power, so you'll be able to tell any performance increase or, in fact, decrease on this machine, but there's more to it than that. I guess you get to run engines in, it'll save you schlepping off to a circuit and having the riders ride the bikes occasionally as well.
Definitely. All the machines, before they leave to go to a BSB, all of the bikes are run on the dyno, and we certainly test them again when we come back on the dyno. But the guys, Ian and Paul, will do a lot of fueling and mapping on each of the bikes when we've got modification or upgrades with any parts or components. So again, we're able to do back-to-back and being able to read data. And like you said earlier, the fact that the guys don't have to run the bikes in when they're at a BSB circuit, everything's done for them. So over the past years, Jamie, Steve Plater on the 600, Alex Lowe's on the Superbike in 2013, there was over 2,600 dyno runs in each of those years.
God, that's hours.
On those machines.
So some of your guys spend a lot of time in here.
Spend a lot. Paul and Ian have spent a terrific amount of time in here.
And there's more to it than you think, actually, when you first look at a dyno. So the bike sits on in a wanner, so the exhaust has to go somewhere, so that gets sucked out of this pipe.
Yep.
And then the bike's got a cool, because obviously the water-cooled engine's a big radiator at the front. So I'm guessing that high-speed air, maybe 160 mile an hour, comes out of that thing.
So when you sat on the bike in the summer, perfect, but in the winter,
it's cold.
It's freezing cold in here.
Oh, is it a popular job?
It is actually. Both Paul, Ian and that, they actually enjoy it, and I think when you see the fruits of your reward or the efforts going into it, it's very encouraging.
Well, thanks for showing us around.
Jamie, thank you very much.
Do you have a kettle?
I do. Follow me.
Kettle on?
Yep, let's go.
Never leaves anywhere without having a brew first. I dare say that Witt's pockets were clinking then as well. I would urge Javier Beltran to just have a bit of a check that everything's still where he left. Stock check, yeah. Great little team. Well, I say little team, big team, Shaky. You've had some good times with them, and great to see as well get the insight of what, as Witt said, proper kind of factory effort there.
Yeah, do you know what the funny thing is? There's an aura of a factory team that you know, the team's all really, really serious, and especially a team like Honda Racing, you know, it's always been deemed to be a really serious team, and there wasn't deemed to be a lot of fun in there. But you know, in my time, you know, Harvey was the team boss working for me, or I was working for him, I guess, depending on how you looked at it. But he was a great guy.
We know you look at it.
Yeah, you work for me. He was a great guy, still is a great guy. You know, it's a great team, and yeah, there's plenty of fun in there, and I guess, you know, it's a team that like all the rest, you know, it demands success. You know, they put a lot of effort into make, as you saw, that they make their own stuff. They do all their in-house development to try and make sure that the boys have the best bike at the weekend to do the job they need to do. And when you're winning, everybody's happy, and when you're not, they want to know why, because they're doing their bit.
They wouldn't have been that happy after race one then, and once again it was kind of an incident that was taken out of their hands in a way for Jason O'Halloran, who's their lead rider, of course, at the minute with Dan Linfoot injured. We spoke to Jason earlier. Give us your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a move that can be made, but it's a move that's really, really risky, and you know, Josh put it up the inside going into the right-hander at Hall Bends, and you know, put Jason off track going into the left, and Jason was actually really, really, really lucky to stay on the thing, because he had to turn from right to left to go across one bit of grass and straight across the track with guys behind him onto the grass the other side. So whilst Honda won't be happy, they haven't got a smashed up bike, which could have quite easily happened, and there's not masses of runoff through the woodland section there either. It's been extended quite a lot, so it's a lot safer than it used to be, but very, very easy to go down and hit a tyre wall or something and you know, smash a bike up, which would have been another drama ready for race 2.
Yeah, well, he's already got his work cut out from 13th on the grid in race 2. Leon Haslam, though, he'll be happy with his performance and result, of course, in race 1. Here's the move for the lead shaky, which he actually reckoned was a bit by mistake.
Yeah, mate. Leon quite. No, I'm not buying it, and he wasn't selling it very well, I don't think. But he complains now and again about the quick shifter on his bike. You know, when he back shifts, the bike automatically blips and sends it into a different gear or whatever. And he said that was the case, but you know, it looked like a pretty measured move to me. He tried it 2 or 3 times before. And finally made it stick. I mean, I called Leon as a potential winner for the first race, and he done a great job. You know, the guys were right on him though. You know, we had Bradley Ray right on the back of him. Jake obviously came through right at the end from 5th, went through to 3rd. And my teammate here, or my sort of teammate, it depends how you look at it at the moment. You're my teammate at the minute, but my sort of teammate, he's done a great job and come through to 4th.
Yeah, just in the battle for the podium there, Glenn. We saw you on the footage there. You were in the mix, which would have been something I guess you'd have been quite happy about at the start of play this weekend.
Yeah, it was, you know, after our incident on Friday morning, I probably didn't think I would be able to stay in the mix, you know, until the last lap as such. I know we weren't hassling them to win the race, but we were in a podium position, and yeah, I threw that podium away. I left the door wide open, but the last 5-6 laps, got into the left-handers. I was holding on as much as I could, and you know, I'm so weak from gooseneck kind of right through the left the whole bend.
Tell us about the incident on Friday then, and just exactly how you are now after.
Yeah, it was just
Did
so
you do
stupid.
Danny Buchan? Did you see his crash?
It was very, very similar to Danny's. I think I lost it a little bit earlier. Session was basically done. I rode out of pits, timed it an out lap and 1 lap. Didn't put new tyres in, but when you're confident, you know, you can go out on old tyres and do a lap, you know, nearly as good. And that I was on quite a good lap, and just braked too deep in the bottom of the mountain and lost it, and tore my rotator cuff in my left shoulder. So I'm overcompensating my right arm, riding around with like arm pump on my right side. But it's no excuse. It's you know, I can still ride with them. I just need to work a way of how I can maybe preserve a bit of strength and energy and work out a way to pass, because that's my biggest problem around here, is trying to. Probably the weakest point of our bike is a big lunge is shaky, I know as well, and it's something I really need to improve. The surprise passes are into left-handers here, and that's something I don't think I have.
Glenn, best of luck with the recovery. Hopefully it holds out for you in race 2. And we'll see you back out there in a little while.
Cheers, get your finger out and get it on the podium, please.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
That's just what you need, isn't it? Thanks very much. OK, remember the BSB race 2 coming up at 4:30 this afternoon. But before that, we have the latest instalment of the Dickies British SuperSport Championship. It's the feature race coming up, and James Whittam is down on the grid for us now.
Cheers, Matt. This is row 4, and this is Keenan Armstrong. If we can just get in and have a quick word. Now, Keenan was 11th yesterday in the sprint race, and I got in a little bit of bother with some of his friends because I said the kid hadn't been racing last year before. He finished 3rd in the Stock 6 Championship, rode really, really well. And I was saying, oh yeah, he's back, he's a chunky lad. And I meant Stock, and his mates were all tweeting in saying he's lost 2 stone, you know, he's deadly serious. And I know he's serious about his racing. Keenan, good result yesterday, and good to see you back.
Yeah, it's good always to be back, you know. It's been a long off-season, like trying to find the funding to come back and stuff like that, you know, so we just have to try and push on now.
You've got some good mates, because also they were tweeting saying, give him a good mention, because he ain't got a lot of money to play with, he's not really well funded, he's really struggling to be here, so...
Yeah, that's it, we just need as many people as we can to help us out, really. It's all funded by my dad and my mum, so we just needed all the help we can, really. Yeah.
You have a good run.
Cheers, thank you.
He sat next to Kyle right on the grid. Now, Kyle's had a really, last couple of weekends, not such a good run. It was knocked off in spectacular fashion by Ben Curry down at Thruxton. Which knee is it? It's the right knee, isn't it?
This one, yeah. Right.
How is it?
It's all right. I didn't do myself any favours this morning. I took the front at barn and landed straight on it, which I was convinced I wasn't racing, but I've had 3 hours of ice packing and I'm on the grid again.
Good lad, good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Always got a smile on his face as Kyle, and his knee looks a real mess. They've had to take all the in the knee of the leathers, what you've got is a lot of padding there. You've got some really hard plastic, then some kind of expanded foam. They've taken all that out to fit his swollen knee into it. It looks like a map of the world. It's got all sorts of purple and veins sticking out of it and all sorts. It doesn't look so good to me. But anyway, we're going to go forward. This is Jamie Perrin. He's having a good do. 5th yesterday. I might just have a quick word if I can. Let's have a look. Jamie, good run yesterday. Disappointed with it, were you?
Very disappointed, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Been struggling all weekend with setup, feel. I'm just not gelling this weekend at all. So, rescue a 5th yesterday. It wasn't too bad, but I was still a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you.
Better this time?
Hopefully, just a bit deep on the grid this time. It's a bit hard to pass around here, but I'll do my best.
Yeah, you've work to do. Good luck.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah, Jamie Perrin from Kettering, sponsored by a pub that's run by a mate of mine, actually. That's James Westmoreland. Westy came through to 6th in the first race. And actually, we're used to better from James Westmoreland. This is a class that he really suits. Generally runs really strong in Supersport. We'll have a word with this young fella here. This is Floridian. I'm assured that's the right way of putting it by Jack Bernicle. This is Floridian James Rispoli. James, not a bad run yesterday.
Mate, we're just popping motors instead of wheelies.
What was it? We saw you disappearing a cloud of your own smoke there.
Well, they said do a little James Bond tactic and put some white smoke up, but it didn't work well in my favor there. But yeah, no, it was all right. We had good pace. You know, luckily we got a lap in so we could start 5th on the grid and be on the 2nd row. We got to get off with these front guys and try to hang in there and see if we can put our pace in and run a good race. So,
well, you've shown you're capable of doing that.
100%. You know, we just got to do it at Cadwell. So it's the best I've done around here. So I'm confident. I feel good. The boys did a lot of work. And, you know, let's try to get them a podium again.
Good luck, James.
Thank you.
Again, James is a kid who really likes his racing, really enjoys it. And he's always got a nice strap line, as obviously being American and quite a bit louder than most of the people on the grid. Now, this is Brad Jones. Brad, fantastic ride yesterday. First podium in British Supersport. Really well deserved and really well kind of celebrated afterwards, may I say.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, very happy yesterday to get our debut podium in Supersport. So we'll get stuck in today, see where we end up, and just click the laps off, be consistent, see where we end up at the end. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you feel that it's been coming? Because from where we are sitting, it looks like it has been coming for a while, and it's just taking a lot of doing for you.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, it's my first year in this class, so I've had to get used to the bike. It has been a long time coming. This weekend, the boys have worked extra hard, so I think we're now paying, giving them the results they deserve. So,
good luck, Brad.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah, really good 3rd position, and the team's a brilliant team as well. I'll have a word with this man. This is Manline 2nd in the championship, but every weekend he seems to be scrapping and generally seems to be coming off 2nd best, and it must be really riling him now. Are you getting a little bit fed up with having to finish 2nd?
Yeah, it's weird because I'm so grateful to be in the position I am in, and I've got to try and keep finding that love for coming here and racing and not being disappointed every time I leave the track. I'm coming 2nd place in British Championship races. It's great, but I want a little bit more. It's just how it is. It's competitive nature, and I feel like every time I get on the bike, I'm ready to do battle, and by the end of the race, I'm 2nd. So I've just got to keep the positive attitude going, and hopefully we can have a crack.
What's the difference? What is the difference? And it isn't much of a difference.
He's just so perfect. You saw in that last lap, I pressured him for 11 laps, and he doesn't make a mistake. I ran deep into the woods. It looked like I was trying to make a pass on the left, but it wasn't. I just blew it into the right and went deep on the left. So I've got to bear that in mind, not to rush. Just set it up. If the opportunity doesn't come off the back straight, it's the hairpin. It's going to be scrappy, but it is what it is.
Good luck.
Cheers.
Yeah, it must be really frustrating having to finish 2nd every single time. That's Ben Curry. He has got a lot of talent. Matt, back to you.
Thanks, James. Yep, he'll be looking to go one better today. The only guy, actually, who, other than Ben Curry and Jack Kennedy, to have won a race in the Supersport Championship this year is this man, David Allingham. And as you can see, he's not out where he should be on the grid. David, obviously, you injured yourself at Thruxton last time out. You left the circuit in a sling there, but it looks like you're on the mend.
Yeah, I took the cast off about 4 days after, and we went to Cambridge Hospital to talk to the surgeon. And lucky enough, I could move my hand, and we didn't have to get an operation on it. To be honest, if I was Jack Kennedy and I was in that hunt for the championship, I'd be out racing this weekend. But, the hand's just not strong enough, and there's no point going out there and just gathering up a few points. I just want to come back stronger at Silverstone, to be honest.
What is the prognosis then? Is Silverstone's going to be fine? I mean, where are you at with your physio and whatever else? What are we doing?
The hand's moving quite good at the moment. We just need to keep doing it all the time now and try to get some strength back into it. You know, that's basically it at the moment, just trying to get some strength back into the hand to try to get out for Silverstone.
David, best of luck with that. Yeah. Sorry that you're not out there today, but we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully back at Silverstone. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks very much.
OK, we'll take a quick break now then. And when we come back, we will be going racing. Once again, the 600s will be out in force here at Cadwell Park. It's the Dickies British Supersport feature race, and it's live after the break. Here we go then, warm-up lap already underway for the Supersport feature race. Let's cross straight to our commentators for this one. James Whittam is back in the box, as is Jack Bernacle. Over to you, boys.
The Dickies British Supersport Championship, a 41-point lead now for Jack Kennedy after his remorseless victory yesterday, and after James Whittam's rather unkind question about do you ever get fed up of finishing second. Ben Curry very gallantly keeping his chin up and saying, well, we'll just keep plugging away and keeping our head held high. Ben Wilson is now his crew chief, of course, the former runner-up by a single point in the British Supersport Championship, and he tells Ben that you can pass anywhere around here. Well, then Ben used to be able to because he was virtually born at this track. Jack Kennedy is now 41 points ahead of Curry's Gale Kawasaki. James Rispoli onto his third Yamaha engine of the weekend is in third place for Everquip Yamaha, just ahead of James Westmoreland, who is now ahead of Twyman and Allingham, both of them unable to race this weekend. Bradley Jones, his first rostrum of the weekend. If he repeats that, he'll move past the EHA boys. Bradley Peary in 11th place is 3 points ahead of Tim Neve of the Neve twins, local boys again. Tommy Phil, Bjorn Estment, Danny Booth in that top 15, down to Dan Drayton. The starting grid features the inevitable Jack Kennedy in the Integro Yamaha on pole position ahead of Ben Curry and GP2. I was going to say dominator Josh Owens, but in fact Josh, of course, had a mishap yesterday and ended up just behind. He recovered strongly, but ended up just behind Kyle Ryde. Bradley Jones in 4th place ahead of James Rispoli and SGR Racing's Tom Oliver, who had a good ride yesterday. James Westmoreland, Gale Kawasaki is in 7th place ahead of Jamie Perrin and Sam Wilford. Tim Neve, Kyle Ryde, and the returning Keenan Armstrong in 12th place. Keenan Armstrong, who had a 3rd place a couple of years ago in the National Super Stock 600 Championship, making his return. So with the green flag being waved at the back of the grid, all clear then for the 30 riders on a packed grid. This is Dickies British Supersport. This is Cadwell Park, 16-lap feature race, and this time Curry gets a terrific start. And I think that Jack Kennedy's actually got sucked back behind his teammate Brad Jones. He has. So Kennedy with a little bit of work to do here. Brad Jones gets through ahead of him. He does nick himself back into 3rd place, having momentarily been into 4th. So first lap of 16 then, and Ben Curry getting the rush that he wanted to lead the way and see if he can actually stretch a little advantage before Jack Kennedy gets close to him.
Yeah, I'll stand by what I said about Ben Curry. I said frustrated and not fed up of finishing second, and it is frustrating when you're so close every single weekend, but it's the same bloke who's beating you.
It was Josh Owens there who was momentarily in 3rd place on the GP2 Kalex. He gets pushed back to 4th place by the energetic number 4, Jack Kennedy. And James Rispoli there surviving on the downhill where he expired in a plume of smoke yesterday. We'll be hoping for better on the Everquip Yamaha, the ever-exuberant and optimistic man from Ormond Beach, Florida. The leader, though, is Australian Ben Curry. So Australian Curry leads 2nd place man Brad Jones. It's an Integro 2-3 at the moment, with Jones ahead for probably the first time this season of his teammate Jack Kennedy. I was fascinated when you were talking to Bradley Jones that he still had his glasses on the grid, and yet he doesn't have them on when he actually races. It's a strange habit, wearing the spectacles all the time. But you were telling me that there have been a lot of kind of fairly near-sighted racers that you've known in your time.
Absolutely. I've known 4 or 5 lads who are really, really flipping good. I would have said, yeah. challenged.
Oh, and look at that. Strong move by Bradley Jones. Well, he's obviously nearsighted enough to think I can have a go here coming out of Charlie's, and he's just pushed his way under Ben Curry. So for the first time in his rookie season, Brad Jones leads a race here. But look at Kennedy getting inside him, and suddenly Bradley, after that brief moment of glory, is squeezed back into third place.
Yeah, I think he ran offline to get past Curry, and then that put him offline on the exit and lost him a load of speed down the straight.
So once again, we have Yamaha versus Kawasaki. The Kawasaki, James, are a relatively old design. It's not been redesigned or launched as a new model for some time, has it? So it's really doing very well.
Yeah, you say that, but it's the second newest. The Yamaha's brand new. It's been out about 18 months as a design, but even that wasn't too much different from the old R6. It wasn't a complete redesign. It was an upgrade, an update. But the Kawasaki's the next one. If you count the Suzuki and the Honda, they're all four Japanese in with that. They're both older. The Honda's really old.
So the leader at the moment then is that bright green Kawasaki ahead of the two blue Yamahas. And would you say that right now what Brad Jones needs to do in third place is stay as close as he can to his teammate here
and learn a bit of something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Owens behind him, and then it's Rispoli, Tom Oliver. I mean, a terrific outing on the SGR Yamaha there in sixth place ahead of Jamie Perrin, James Westmoreland, Kyle Ryden, Wilford.
Watch this, because I saw that out of Charlie's. It looked like Jack was having a little bit of a go at getting a good slipstream. Now, not worked. He's not going to waste any time trying to pass Ben Curry, I know that. Ooh.
And number 34 has unfortunately briefly bitten the dust. And
Daniel
Dan Drayton, the Scunthorpe boy on the NP Motorcycles Kawasaki. So he took a nice crash helmet, Dan.
Yeah, and he's not far to go on.
No, he's not, has he? In fact, that lovely B road that leads you up towards Scunthorpe, perfect little route.
Oh, okay, Jack.
Ben Curry.
I like that when you get excited about a bit of road.
Oh, mate, it's like riding a rally stage in a Suzuki Swift. It's perfect. Bradley Jones is taking your advice here, look. He's staying pretty tight on the two leaders and learning a bit while he can, while he's got Jack Kennedy in his sights. The reigning champions, of course, Appleyard, McAdam, Integro, Yamaha, as they come round the hairpin and drop down to Barn.
Yeah, won the championship last year with Keith Farmer, but do you know, before that they've been batting away in the championship, various championships, and not really won anything. Really good team is the Appleyard team, run by Robin Appleyard. Always had his family with him. His dad passed away, unfortunately, but his mum Peg is always at every meeting. They love it, they live for the racing. Robin raced in his time, raced at Grand Prix level, European Championship level and British Championship, mainly on 125s, but also on a 250, and they live for their racing, does that family.
And if you remember, James, as we see Jack Kennedy now just think about it, but no, just sit back in there. Josh Owens also sitting there in fourth place behind Bradley Jones.
One of the things about the Appleyards as well, Robin said he'll always give a young lad a ride. Yes. He likes to bring the young riders through. If he has an old, experienced, fast guy in the team, he'll always have, to match that, he'll always have an inexperienced young kid and he'll give him a chance. And
do you know what? What I really admire is the resilience with which they came through a really bad patch of 2 or 3 seasons with the likes of Dean Brown, the Scottish lad, and even Jake Dixon, where they had constant electrical failures on the Yamahas, absolutely persistent, and they could never get to the bottom of it, and they just kept on losing good positions in races because of that. And I think it's amazing that they've kept at it, and they've finally been rewarded with the championship.
Yeah, there's a few families mainly that run bike shops, and that's the case in Appleyards. But also, I mean, I know about the northern ones because that's where I live, but Padgett's have been involved in racing for years and years, and they never wouldn't be. They always would be. Without racing, they wouldn't exist. And there's other shops around the country that do the same thing.
Bradley Jones, then the young element, the inexperienced element in the Appleyard Macadam Integro Yamaha team, running in third place behind this warring duo who aren't moving away quite as speedily as they usually do. Usually, of course, they've opened up an enormous gap by this stage of a race. But here we are on lap 5 of 16 as Kennedy once again shows himself on the left-hand side of Ben Curry on the run along Park Straight. And James Rispoli, I'm just wondering about the pace here, James, because look, Rispoli's sticking in there. So too Tom Oliver. Jamie Perrin in 7th place is in touch as well there in green and yellow. Yeah, sorry, blue and yellow.
The pace isn't that hot. The pace being set by Ben Curry, and I think that Jack Kennedy's getting a little bit frustrated behind him. I've just seen down the back straight there that he's really looking for a way past Jack Kennedy now.
They're a full second off lap record pace. Luke Staplefull's lap record stands on his triumph back in 2015, and they're running a second and a bit off that at the moment, so they're not really, well, exactly a second off it at the moment, so they're not pushing. No, they've dropped into the 130s, 130.3 in fact. So it's over a second and a half off that lap record pace at the moment for Ben Curry. Perhaps Ben's just conserving tyres and taking his time, and can make a break. Who knows?
It looks to be trying out to me, does Ben? He doesn't look to believe in much in the locker there.
So as they come along the start straight, and then his fabulous swoop up through Coppice and then flicking it right into Charlie's 1.
Right, so what Jack Kennedy's doing now, sat in second, he's trying to get a nice run through Charlie's 2. There they are now, onto the straight, use a bit of slipstream, try and get a little bit level. If he can put his front wheel level with Ben's back wheel, then he will have a go down into park. He's taking his time. It looked like that. He might just have had a go at that, I thought.
Jack Kennedy, incidentally, in second place is in the race at the moment, and obviously a fairly handy lead in the championship. Has got a possibility of returning to World Supersport, James, with Luke Stapleford's team on Yamaha in 2019. That's one of his possibilities. Would that be one that you would recommend he go for?
Jack's 30 now, and I honestly think, and I always have, I've always thought he's got World Championship pace. I think he's finished third in the World Supersport race at Portimao a few years ago. He's run right near the front on several occasions, and not really had the best run at it. He had a lot of incidents that weren't his fault. He got knocked off. He fell off on his own accord as well. He had mechanical incidents. And
he suffered a broken leg here at Cadwell in 2015 when he was riding British Superbike.
I just think he's got World Supersport pace, and if he doesn't have a go next year, then he's not going to get a chance to have another a good go at it. So I was saying to him, look, if you do get a chance and you feel you want to go that way, it's probably a last chance at a World Championship, you know, decent run at it at least. But it's either that for him or it's British Superbikes, I think.
He actually finished second at Portimao back in 2014.
Did he finish second? Was it a second?
Yeah.
I stand corrected.
And of course, although he only had a couple of top sixes at Portimao, which he obviously likes in Donington, he was 7th in World Supersport the year before. So he was on the pace.
He was on the pace. I mean, he was really unlucky not to finish on the rostrum 3 or 4 times, in my opinion. And that's World Championship pace, and that's possibly when it was slightly harder than it is now, I think, get the field-wise.
So this front four, look at them knitted together here. Curry, Kennedy, Jones, Owens are the front four. And then you've got Rispoli, Tom Oliver, Perrin and Kyle Ride, the Integro Yamaha team there on their pit wall. This is intriguing because it's a long time since we've seen them block this tightly together in a super sport race here in the Dickies Championship.
Yeah, I think what you've got there is a pace being set by Ben Curry that for whatever reason, isn't that hot, and then the pack behind him are just finding it difficult to get past. We know how difficult it is to get past here, and that's why you get a sort of traffic jam behind him, really. I might be being a little bit unkind to Ben there. But certainly that everybody's staying together, which says to me that, the pace is a little bit steadier.
It's just that second off.
Yeah.
Again, 29.8 on that lap, and the lap record of Staples is a 28.7. We're not saying that they should be running at lap record pace, but certainly they're a fair chunk of time behind. So Curry still leads the way. He got that vital drop on the start on Jack Kennedy. Kennedy was momentarily 4th, pushed his way to 3rd, and then quickly into 2nd place. We're on the 8th lap of 16, so approaching half distance. This is the feature race of the weekend, of course. This is the beautiful Chris curve, never-ending right-hander that funnels you almost directly into the gooseneck. It's amazing how long you're on the right side of the tyre there, James. You never pick the thing up. It's just a huge curve forever.
Yeah, it tightens up a little bit towards the end, where then you've got to hold against the right-hand curve at the gooseneck, then to flick it left for the left-hand part of the gooseneck. It's a tricky bit of track, is that? there's quite a lot going on. Takes a little bit of getting right. And when you do, I've run a lot of track days here, and if there's any piece of track in the UK that's going to catch the unwary newcomer out, it is the Gooseneck at Cadwell.
There are, of course, no triumphs in here because Corey McCreevy, unfortunately, the very likeable, long-haired Irish lad who stung the regulars with that victory at Knock Hill, is not with us on the Triumph Triple. So it's all singing, all dancing, howling four-cylinder machines here.
Yeah, and it's 95% Yamahas. The new Yamaha R6, as I said, came out for the beginning of the 2017 season. It would appear to be, if not a significant, a definite improvement on the previous model, and people, they like it, and they're buying it, and they're running it.
These things, you were saying that they're not permitted to be in it. Oh, and look, there's a move from Josh Owens. He does slip through then on the Kalex GP2 bike. Just avoids the curve as he comes out of the right-hander at Park Curve. So he is now into third place ahead of Brad Jones.
What were you saying, Jack?
I was saying that these things, they rev to a prodigious level, don't they? And even though they're not allowed as high a rate of tune as when you were competing in Supersport back at the beginning of, well, dare I say, the beginning of this century?
Yeah, these are the regs they run to in BSB at the minute, or British Supersport. They allow them up to... The Yams are producing around about 140 brake horsepower. The Kawasaki's pretty similar and revving to about 16,000 RPM. But in my day, you could actually change conrods and cams and lighten the engine considerably. Ooh. Jack's having a little push. There's a big roller there. There's a big crest, and the bike goes light. You've got to settle the bike before you go over. It's dead easy to get a wheelie over there. See that, look? The rear took off and tried to overtake the front end then. No, that wasn't too dangerous. He had that pretty much under control. But yeah, these things are about 140 brake horsepower. At the state of the tune that the regs will allow, in my days, and this has gone back a long time, this has gone back 15 years, in 02 I last raced, 16 years, and our bikes are 140 horsepower then, about 138 horsepower, 139, because they're allowed to be tuned a lot more. Rods, cams, pistons, the lot,
So far, Ben Curry, he's been holding a really consistent pace on those 129.9s pretty much all of the time. Although Josh Owens did a 129.6 on the last lap, so he's right in there, squeezed in onto the back of the leading two.
Well, the interesting thing was when he went past Brad Jones, he did it. Oh, and here's Rispoli up the inside, bit of a block pass. That'll do though. That'll work, and you don't get much cleaner than that here at Cadwell.
So the Rispoli then takes the ever-quick racing Yamaha with his brand new motor through into fourth place.
Yeah, that number 65 GP2 bike in third place, the green and black bike with the orange number, that's Josh Owens. He got past Brad Jones pretty much by slipstreaming on the straight. He got a really good run out of Charlie's. Down the straight, he got in the slipstream and actually got past before the braking zone at Park Corner. It's going to be interesting to see because Brad Jones's bike ought to have been every bit as quick as the two in front of him. Certainly his teammates should be exactly the same spec. So if Owen can catch the two in front, it's going to be interesting to see if he can do the same thing with them down the straight. The GP2 bikes have a lot less power. They've probably got, well, about 18 brake horse less, and about 120, 121 brake horse on a Honda engine, all exactly the same as the GP2 engines. Same state of tune, and that's less than the Supersport bikes, about 18 brake horse, like I say. But they are lighter. They're perhaps 25 kilos lighter, and they're aerodynamically a lot more efficient. A bigger fairing on the front, that sounds like it should stop more air, but they're more efficient because the air's going a better way around. And a smaller fairing means the air's dirty. Handlebars, elbows, head sticking out of a fairing doesn't work for aerodynamics. And that's not the case with the Kalex. That's really clean as a bike, and that should pay dividends.
And Josh has a wild card MotoGP, Moto2 ride next weekend at Silverstone.
He has, yeah.
So that's an exciting thing for the Liverpoolian lad to look forward to.
Yeah, and within the entrance fee, which is considerable, they get a brand new engine because they've all got to be sure they're running on the same engine as everybody else. So he'll get a new engine to put in, he'll get his tyres, and what else will he get? And, oh yeah, and his entrance fee, but it's quite a dear entrance fee. He's also got to get hold of or borrow or beg or buy 2 airbag suits because they are now compulsory in MotoGP. So it's a dear do.
Ben Curry, leading this race narrowly, has never won here at Cadwell Park before, either in Superstock 600, he was runner-up in 2015, or in the last 2 years in British Supersport. This just could be a maiden victory if he can head off Jack Kennedy, which he has done so far. We're on the 12th lap of 16, so approaching 2/3 race distance with everything working at the moment in the Geerling Kawasaki's favour. He hasn't, and he's led strongly from the front, James. He hasn't given Jack Kennedy so far a glimmer of an opportunity.
Tell you what, look how fast that Calex is in 3rd place at Josh Owens. If he can get within biting distance there, you know, he will get past, he'll drive past on the straight, I'm fairly sure.
So Josh Owens, remember, oddly, is in a kind of separate race, the GP2 Cup class. Kyle Ride in 11th place is the 2nd GP2 bike. Mike Brewers and Joel Burraboom have enjoyed a season of racing together down the pack. Oh, and that was a big moment there from Ben Curry.
It was, yeah. And you're dead right, but you're spoiling it a little bit, because I'd like to think that Josh Owens is going to have a nip at this and try and win it overall.
Oh, he will, because look how wonderfully he did that when Ryan Saxelby told him to just clear off a couple of rounds ago. And
yeah,
he went.
And he did, yeah, he did. Good kid, you know, Josh Owens. He's a quick lad. To do that to the field that he did it to at Thruxton and clear off in the manner, even though, hang on, I'm getting out of the way. Even though really the Moto 2 bike or the GP2 bike, because on the side of the tyre for so long at Thruxton would have had an advantage, still to do what he did and was amazing. Good little rider, Josh.
Still, only 18 years old, the lad from Aintree. You'd think he'd be more favoured of a horse riding rather than bike riding.
Well, he's like jockey stature.
Yes,
he's a little fella.
Yeah.
And he's a serious lad, but he had a smile after Thruxton, I'll tell you.
Oh, look at this again. We've got this time. Look at this. Jack Kennedy swoops round the outside of the Geerling Kawasaki. This time he does squeeze inside Ben Curry. He's been showing up on the other side of Curry so much. Curry strives bravely to nudge inside on the entrance to Chris Curve. He's still right in there with the Kennedy's Yamaha, and with Josh Owens there with the grandstand seat in 3rd place.
Yeah, and that's the natural riposte at Park Corner. If somebody goes up the inside of you, you are fairly sure they're not going to get it stopped properly.
And that's almost worked in Curry's favour. I thought for a moment he was going to draw back into advantage. Wow, Ross Walker there, bless him, he must have wondered where they all came from. One big hit.
Yeah, there should have been a blue flag out there. There probably was. We didn't see it, but there will have been a blue flag out just to let him know that the pack was approaching. And another blue flag there, you see in the background.
These are great shots of these lads swinging their way through what seems like the endless hole bends before they drop into the hairpin.
Yep.
So Kennedy now looking for that 11th race victory of the season. Has that fraction of an advantage. Lap 13 complete then. 3 to go for Jack Kennedy. The Dubliner crosses the line. Brilliant stuff for Kennedy, this. And now he's going to try. Is he going to try and pull a gap? What was there is, let's see if the lap times, that lap as they fenced with one another was up into 1:30.3 territory.
Yeah, they had a couple of back markers as well, though, Jack, that really put them offline.
Yeah, look at this. Curry's going to have a look. Curry's got the line.
Can he stop it?
Yes, perfect. Perfectly done. Kennedy tries to riposte. No, he can't.
That was a lovely little block pass from Ben, and really well executed that.
So Ben Curry, who himself would like to get in World Championship level. Remember, there was talk of him deputising for the injured Keenan Sofoglu earlier in the year at Puchetti Racing.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
I actually called him, you know, and said, get on the phone. When I knew that Sofoglu wasn't going to be right, and I got on the phone to Ben and said, get on the phone to whoever you can and tell them you're available and tell them that, you know, and they've got to give you a go. And he said, no, I've tried that already. He said, I did it an hour ago.
Look at this, Michael Dibidov there in the middle of picture, Geerling Kawasaki. How they'd like to see this result pulled off there by the 23-year-old from Melbourne in Victoria. He leads the way. He leads the way by half a bike length from Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, 2 laps can be a long time round here when you're stuck at the front with something nipping at you.
So what's his plan now, James? Oh, well, Kennedy has a plan there. He almost managed to get underneath him. Now then, the Park Straight, where do you want to put yourself here? Does he want to go in fairly narrow and defensive? Can he afford to do that?
No, there isn't a lot of defending to be done, actually. He could go right to the right-hand side, then cut back to the left, but that'll give Jack the advantage up the left-hand side, the right-hand side as we see it, look. So Jack cuts to the inside.
And Curry was late enough and efficient enough on the brakes there.
And that's all he can hope for.
And this is the penultimate lap, so Kennedy's only realistically got one other snip to make of that. Remember, Jack is still riding injured. I mean, he is he smiled knowingly yesterday after yesterday's victory in the sprint race and said to me, yeah, I'll be even quicker once I'm properly fit.
Well, you've got to think
right
he
now,
will be.
Ben Curry has just got the advantage on that beautiful green and orange Kawasaki. This is great. This is exactly where Curry needs to be to try and make this happen.
Well, I don't think it's going to happen for Jack on this part of the circuit anyway. I don't think that he's enough quicker or, let's say, daft enough to have a go anywhere through here. The only real place you can do it is down there into the hairpin up the inside, and that is a real block pass, and it's a bit ungentlemanly at the best of times. Is that I've never seen it carried out and pulled off in a clean fashion, shall we say.
Well, last lap is when Jake Dixon managed to do it on Glen Irwin to snatch himself a third place in the earlier Superbike race. So let's see what happens on the final lap of the Dickies SuperSport Championship race here at Cadwell Park. This is the feature race. This is Curry versus Kennedy, the story of Dickies SuperSport 2018.
Right, so Jack's got a good run out of Charlie's. He's in the slipstream.
And again, Curry goes wide, but it gives Jack the chance to think about the outside, but he moves across and blocks him cleverly.
He made Jack around the outside. That was good riding, that. Clever riding from Ben.
So Curry has protected his line perfectly there in the Park Straight. Now, that's it. So Jack's going to have to find a way to surprise him during the course of this final lap. Could be down here. Is he strong enough on the brakes? No, he's not. He tried to do a Keith Farmer downhill into Melbourne. Didn't work.
And I don't think anything's going to work now because there's some back markers, but I don't think they're going to catch him.
And so it's
bottom of the mountain.
Could be the bottom of the mountain. He gets the Yamaha on the stop, doesn't quite make it.
In my opinion now, the only place that Jack is going to be able to even have a little bit of a look would be down into the hairpin, and that is a bold move, is that? And whether it's worth it this time in the championship, when he's got a lead in the championship, I don't know.
He's not going to be quite close enough, is he, here? As he dropped, and he almost lost the back end. He tries to drop in wide and cut back inside. That didn't work. And Ben Curry, he's not won since the opening 2 rounds, Donington Park, at the beginning of the year, but he has taken victory. He's finally got that monkey off his back. He beats Kennedy with Josh Owens in 3rd place. Rispoli gets across the line ahead of Bradley Jones, and a brilliant result for Tom Oliver in 6th place ahead of Perrin, Westmoreland, Wilford and Tim Neve. And absolute joy then for everybody there. Ben Wilson, formerly a runner-up in that championship, of course. Ben Curry's girlfriend, Michael Dibidav, and the whole Gale and Kawasaki team. They deserve that.
Well, I tell you what, he really fought and worked away for that one, Jack. A lot of pressure.
So a brilliant result then for race winner Ben Curry, Gale and Kawasaki. 24 minutes and 6 seconds of intense concentration, and he finally cracks the 10-time winner of the series, Jack Kennedy. Brilliantly done with Ryan Saxelby's Kalex GP2 bike in 3rd place in the hands of Josh Owens. Jack Kennedy acknowledges the crowd after a terrific race there on the Integro Yamaha. He'll be presumably pretty much back to full fitness when we reach Silverstone in 3 weeks' time. And congratulations to Ben Curry there. Indicates the number 1 to his teammate James Westmoreland. Westy congratulates him, having come home in 8th place. So, Dickies SuperSport at Cadwell Park, the feature race sees Ben Curry on the Gale and Kawasaki finally edge out Jack Kennedy's Integro Yamaha, with Josh Owens in 3rd place. Rispoli will be on the box, of course, as 3rd place man in the absence of Owens in the British SuperSport category, ahead of Bradley Jones. What a ride for SGR Yamaha's Tom Oliver. Jamie Perrin in 7th, James Westmoreland 8th, ahead of Sam Wilford and Tim Neve. 11th place for the 2nd GP2 by Kyle Ride. ahead of Bjorn Estmont. Keenan Armstrong, good to see him back. Richard Kerr and Tommy Philp. And points also for Harry Truelove and Kurt Wigley, because Jorrell Boereboom, the third GP2 Kalex bikes, slots in there in 17th place. So both Truelove and Wigley will move up and score points. The championship standings, well, at least it looks slightly healthier for Galen Kawasaki and Ben Curry, because the gap drops to 36 points between Kennedy and Curry. James Rispoli in third place on 178. Is 13 points ahead of James Westmoreland, who in turn has 22 points on the absent Ross Twyman. Bradley Jones now splits the two EHA Yamahas. He moves into the top 6 on the second Integro Yamaha after a very successful weekend. Tom Oliver moves into 8th place for SGR Yamaha and 1 point ahead of Sam Wilford, with Jamie Perrin also joining them on 3 figures. Tim Neve on 81 points ahead of Bradley Peary. Bjorn Estmont on the Everkip Yamaha. Tommy Philp, Danny Booth, Robert Kennedy and Kurt Wigley in 17th place.
Well, he spoke highly of Jack Kennedy's abilities before the race, but finally he found a way to beat him today. Ben Curry, the winner of the SuperSport feature race here at Cadwell Park. We'll get full reaction, the podium and the thoughts of the 3 podium finishers in just a couple of minutes. Ben Curry spices things up at the top of the Dickies British SuperSport Championship then, with victory in the feature race here at Cadwell Park, but it was another win in the GP2 class for Josh Owens. He's the first up down there at the bottom of the paddock with Rachel.
Yeah, we've got Josh Owens down here, winner of that GP2 class there. Josh, congratulations. Yesterday was a bit of a blip, but you bounced back.
Yeah, yesterday just made a bit of a mistake. I wasn't really in the game after the Moto3 race, and sorry to all the people who were involved in that. Hope you're all right. But yeah, I mean, today was a lot better. Just got in the pack, got past Brad, which I knew I had to do, and just latched onto Ben and Jack. But fair play to them boys, the way they go through that top section. I can't live with them on that thing. It's just too stiff, and I got no front feel. But fair play to the team. They kept on changing things to try and improve each week, each session, and we were getting there slowly. But like I say, fair play to them boys. They rode well.
Congratulations, well done.
Cheers, thank you. I'd just like to say a massive thank you to HJC and Oxford Products, ASCO Engineering, Direct Diesels, Metfloor, everyone who's got me here, Euro Diesels. Thanks so much, and thanks to the team. Just thanks everyone.
Well done. Right, now we have third place here. Here we go, James Rispoli with a one-liner, I'm sure. Congratulations, especially. I'm sure you're even more happy after yesterday's race.
Definitely. I think I used all the one-liners in the pre-race, you know. Yeah, yesterday we blew up and we decided to do a big smoke screen for everybody. I think SOS saw us, so. But today it was tough, you know, 16 laps. We had to put an older motor in, which is a little bit tougher to work with, but the team gave me a brilliant bike, and to bring them home a podium after having 2 engines kind of go just shows how good Everquip is. And you know, I just want to shout out to the whole team. You know, they worked their butts off all weekend just putting motors in and out like a NASCAR team, so it was good. And I just want to shout out to my family back home in Florida. I know my dad's probably on the boat just fishing, and so I know he's listening. And yeah, queenstheprinters.com and everybody, thank you so much.
Well done, James. Congratulations. There we go. See, always an entertaining interview from James. Then stepping in here, we have Jack Kennedy, second today. Don't usually hear that, but congratulations for holding out there, getting on the podium, especially with your injuries. You are still obviously holding here.
Yeah, I'm happy to take more points today. I struggled in the race yesterday for fatigue in the rest of my body with my hand because it was giving me so much trouble, and today it was even worse. So I knew the feature race was going to be tough. Really wanted to win that one, but I had to use my head to settle for second place today, because the second place is a lot more important than trying to go for a win and go down. And I struggled a lot in my body with fatigue, even though when I passed Ben, I had nothing left physically to push on. So happy to take the second place. It's only 5 points we've lost, and we'll move on to Silverstone in 3 weeks' time, where I reckon, well, I'll be fully fit then. I can get all my good training in, and just say big thanks to my team for a great bike this weekend. And I want to say a thanks to my dad as well for all the work behind the scenes, because he's been doing everything for me, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
Absolutely. With a first and a second not being at full fitness. Congratulations, Jack.
Thanks very much.
Right, and then our winner, long time coming, Ben Curry, congratulations. You must be thrilled.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. It was just like 16 laps of defending, because the pace wasn't there. I tried to make a change with the bike. It didn't really work. Really, we didn't have the outright pace this weekend. We just had to dig deep and try and do everything we could. And towards the end there, my bike actually started just coughing again from what happened to Brand's hatch when it started to cough, and then it just dropped on the 3 cylinders. I thought, oh, please God, don't do this to me. And lucky enough, I held on to a good win, and just a credit to the team. They did everything they could to get me right up there this weekend, so huge thanks to them. All my sponsors, Diamond Recruitment, Scott Leathers for getting a last-minute suit done after Thruxton, all my other sponsors, some friends, family from Australia over here this weekend, so that was awesome to get my first win here at Cadwell in front of them, and my mum, my dad, everyone. Just, yeah, I'm lost for words, but just thanks to everyone.
Awesome, yeah, I saw the Australian flag out there. Congratulations once again, Ben.
Thank you.
Yeah, and this is Michael de Bedalf. This is team principal of the Geely Kawasaki, and therefore of Ben Curry. That was, it's been a long time coming, but on a level playing field, good win.
That was a brilliant win, Jamie. So pleased to get that one. You begin to think that we're never going to beat Jack again, you know. That was really special. Ben rode awesome today. Made some great passes. Getting back in front of Jack when he did, I think that was the perfect timing. He did everything he needed to do. He said at the end of the race, oh, the bike wasn't as good as it was yesterday. So, but you just won the race, Ben. Well, don't worry about it, you know. But no, really happy with that.
What impressed me was it's really difficult to make a clean pass here. It's difficult to make a clean pass on a back marker that's going 2 seconds lap slower. Almost impossible to make a clean pass on somebody who's going your pace, and he did it a couple of times there really well.
It did, yeah. I mean, Ben's just, I think he's just had a little bit of self-doubt sometimes and thinking that Jack's almost invincible. So hopefully this will give him a big boost, you know, and we can maybe try and do this again, hopefully at Silverstone.
Well done, Michael.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah, well done to Michael, to Ben, and everybody at Geely Kawasaki. Kawasaki going to be looking for a double in Superbikes next, though. When we come back from the break, we will turn our attention to the big boys in the Bennett's British Superbike class. Race 2 is on the way.